Hi, my name's Yaakov and I'm a compulsive gambler. Those are the words that I say every Wednesday night, and those are the words that have changed my life around for the better. In order to keep this brief introduction video as brief as possible, I'm going to go through the who, what, when, where and why as pertains to making of this video and how it came to be. The who it's made by is me, obviously. Who it's for, in my mind, everyone. Addiction and mental health can often go hand in hand as often as a chicken and egg scenario. Succumbing to addiction will most certainly affect your mental health, and adverse mental health can often lead to addiction. In the 12-step program, abstinence is just a very step, stopping what you're doing, which you're addicted to. The program is about being aware on and working on and bettering your mental health, which at the very least most certainly would have been damaged in order to live a productive life away from active addiction. It's not just about stopping, you have to actually act in order to change. I believe the videos I intend to make will be beneficial for anyone concerned with either their own or a loved one's mental health, and obviously even more so if an addiction is at play as well. What, when and where? The YouTube videos and an open invitation to be of any of assistance that I can to anyone that may reach out for any help. The when, this I know myself too well to commit to at the beginning. I'm hoping as often as I can. And where is, well, my chair. Which brings us to the why. For brevity's sake, I'm gonna bring it down to two main points, and further things I can discuss another time. So the first, when I was 17 is the first time I realized I had a problem with addiction, with gambling. I felt guilty, confused and alone, even with the utmost support of my family. There was no elder person in the community to turn to that my parents could seek advice from, or that I could look to and relate to and see this person, he looked maybe just like me, or that person would have looked like me 10 years ago, etc. I thought I was probably the first person in my community to actually ever have an addiction problem bad enough that they, for example, had to go see a psychologist, as I did when I was 16 or 17 for that problem. And I imagine definitely if there were any people who were suffering from addiction, the stereotype I had of them in my head was one, of the worst of the worst, and no one that sort of looked half what normal, in inverted commas, could ever be suffering from something like this. It had to be people that even from the outside, you could obviously tell. You could judge the book by the cover and tell that person is probably an addict. I wasn't aware, as I am now, how prevalent it actually is in all communities, and definitely the community that I'm in, and that addiction does not discriminate. There's no such thing as that's not the person I would have thought would become an addict, etc. Unfortunately, it can happen to anyone. The second, there's a famous teaching that the negative things in your life, you don't just try and make it better and move on, but surely moving on and getting better is using those negative experiences as building blocks and as a foundation to turn those negative experiences into basically being a better person. Experiences that otherwise you never would have learned had you not fallen into that in the first place. Those negative things end up making you the person that you are, and perhaps a better person than you ever would have been even before. Does this mean that all the chaos caused was worth it? Definitely not. But you can't change the past. The past, however, can change you if you let it for the better. And this is all very to teach, but I plan on detailing from personal experience how this very much can be true. My journey of recovery has undoubtedly made me a better husband, father, and son, and just a better person overall. And I think I'd ever have become if I did not face the challenges that I had. My next step is to make a video where I explain why it seems to be one of the biggest helps for someone who is suffering from addiction to listen to someone else share their story, and how that seems to help, which I'll follow by giving an insight into my own journey of addiction and recovery, and how recovery remains to be a very important and active part of my life, even though, thank God, I am now clean and sober from all gambling and drugs. Please share this with anyone who you might feel it may help, and give it a like for it to get out there and help the people that it might need. And I guess more to come in the future. Take care and be well.